what do we got up next, my friend? We got a big fight this weekend.
Yo, big fight this weekend.
Big fight this weekend.
Hey, it's. I'll say something about it, B. It's not the two best guys in the division, and it's probably looking to be the biggest fight of 2023.
Yeah.
If that doesn't say something about the culture shift in this sport and the power of social media and good marketing, the power of social media
and knockouts.
Yep.
And knockouts. Power.
Yep.
Power sells. We got Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia.
I'll say I'm shocked that the fight got made, B. I just want to put that out there between the fact that you got a PBC guy and you got a Golden Boy guy. There's a lot of things, both undefeated, both, in my opinion, protected thus far. More so Tank because of his age. I give a little bit more leeway to Ryan because of his youth. Look, people keep thinking Tank is a 19-year-old phenom, and
nice 28.
Another year goes by, and another year goes by, and another year goes by, and the guy's all of a sudden pushing 30.
Right.
Again, you and I have said multiple times his best win is Sniper Pedraza, years and years and years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a bad resume. It's not an elite resume for how popular he is. That makes sense.
The popularity and his age make it a weak resume to me. Is it trash or something?
No, it's not trash. Right.
No,
right.
But for a 28
with those caveats, yes.
For a 20-year-old on the who we can call a boxing star, and is close.
He's a boxing star.
He's a boxing star, and he's close to getting into everyone at the barbershop knows him star.
I think he's there. To be honest with you, I think he's there. That's well. What I'm saying is, that's like he sells out in L.A. He sells out in Baltimore. He sells out Atlanta. He sells out. His pay-per-views do dog shit because he's not that big yet. But I also think that
that's kind of why I was a little bit nervous.
But that also, I think that also has to do with like pirating. I don't, do we have any real pay-per-view stars right now? Besides Canelo?
No, I mean, from our era, massive stars is 1 million buys.
Right.
A huge Tyson fight, a Floyd fight, a prime Oscar, a Canelo against a good opponent, right. or a name opponent, if not good.
Sure.
And then you go below that, a guy does 500,000 pay-per-view buys, he's a really solid big name. And a lot of these guys that people call stars or think are stars,
especially at the price point.
Yes, people, PBC guys will tell you Spence is a star, like he hovers around 200,000. Right. Tank buys hover around like 200,000. Depending on what they're being paid, nothing to shake a stick at.
This is gonna be. Excuse me, sorry. This is gonna be a big one, and I say Ryan is going to bring a lot to this. Though I will say this about Tank, you said
How about a pre-prediction prediction? How many pay-per-view buys?
Oh, I'm so bad at this. I'm going to say 350.
I'm saying 385,000 pay-per-view buys.
All right.
Now let's talk turkey here. Are you surprised that this fight got made?
Yes and no. I'm not surprised because there's two other guys in the division that neither one of these two guys wants anything with. One guy just fought on ESPN, and that's Shakur Stevenson. No one wants to fight Shakur. Nobody. Like, he's saying their names and they're not responding.
Correct.
In this day and age, people don't respond.
Correct.
They don't want it. And Devin Haney has improved quite a bit, and Devin Haney controls, because of the belts that he has, controls a huge portion of paydays.
Yes.
So, this is it for both of those guys because they both want to get paid. I kind of alluded to it before, with PBC, as you and I have suspected on this show for close to 2 years, losing money or running out of money. They have no choice but to work with other people make big fights to try to generate money. So in terms of, I'm surprised Golden Boy's moving Garcia this fast, because I'll just put it at the top. I think he's going to get fucking starched.
Okay, here's something else interesting to me. What I'm looking at, B, is you have the choice of to buy it on DAZN or Showtime pay-per-view.
I know.
And when I heard it was going to be, you know,
A split pay-per-view?
a split pay-per-view, I'm thinking Lennox Lewis Tyson in
Right.
2002.
Pacquiao Mayweather.
Pacquiao Mayweather, where they mix and match the commentators, they mix and match the staff, they mix and match cameramen. Literally,
it's weird.
Hey, let's do this, and it's very weird. What are you gonna watch, B?
I'm going to this bar we all go to up the block from me.
So you don't know what they're gonna play.
They'll likely have the Showtime pay-per-view.
But they don't. You watch the fights without commentary, right?
Without commentary, so you can't. So they'll have two giant TVs. One will have subtitles, and then one, you can't hear it anyway where we go. So I think we have a decent crew going. We were gonna go to my buddy's house, but we opted to go to this place. They take care of us when we go there. So,
have you seen the line, B?
I have not.
Just if people. Davis is minus 270, guys. In degenerate, that's degenerate gambling language, guys. In human language, that basically means he's close to a 3-1 favorite.
3-1 favorite, right?
Ryan Garcia is plus 205, which means he's basically a 2-1 dog.
Right. I think that. Well, no, keep going.
I thought it would be a hair closer. The other one that's always interesting for you and I, because we try to make predictions, is the over and under 7.5 rounds.
I'm taking the over.
So
eighth round.
Well, okay, you're giving predictions already, huh?
I'm just saying it now. I'm taking,
Wow.
Yep.
Gun jumping long.
Yeah. That's what my wife says.
Let's talk about what we think is going to happen and what these guys need to do. I first and foremost, you heard me say, and you have said, I go right to the Luke Campbell fight. A very competent fighter, Luke Campbell, was at one point borderline very good. Better than good, borderline very good.
I think he fought for the championship 3 times. Lost all 3, but so that's really good.
A little bit past his prime, Campbell put Garcia on his back pockets. Garcia throws that left, and as far as popular fighters, don't write in about some guy who fought once on Tuesday Night Fights in 1991. As far as popular fighters, and no matter what you think about him, Ryan Garcia is immensely popular. There's no debate. I don't think I've ever seen someone's chin dangling out like that, the way Ryan Garcia.
It's not just his chin. It's his chin. He stands square.
His hands are at his hips. He fires shots from his hips.
Yeah, he's kind of got a weird style, and he does this like hitch, where if his hands are up, he drops his hands to throw the hook. So it doesn't just come from here.
His hands are up, he drops and throws.
Right.
It's almost like, remember the tick that Ricky Hatton had of hitting his gloves, and Leo Santa Cruz had it?
Right.
It's almost a tick, and they're hard to.
So if Tank can punch in between that, I think it'll take some time to get the timing. Luke Campbell did. Tank's a southpaw. I think he's gonna
southpaw.
So, I keep going. I'm getting ahead of myself here.
No, you're not at all. It's because we get all riled up for big fights, and it's been 4.5 months.
So
here, I'll tell you why I think all of this happens, if you care. I think he thinks he's faster than he is. he's doing what, you know how you and I talked about the horrible effects of Floyd being as brilliant as he was, and
Right.
people trying to emulate it and they can't, but they
Yeah.
still try. The shoulder roll, which he really got from James Toney, which James got from guys ages
Yeah.
ago from Philly. Anyway, this is the direct result of guys. Oh, Roy was my favorite guy. I've never heard Ryan Garcia say that. I don't know who his favorite fight is. If Ryan Garcia was interviewed and said, "I grew up worshiping Roy," I'd go, "Oh, of course."
Right.
He's doing stuff that Roy did to Glenn Kelly. His gloves are down. I mean, he's not gloves. His hands are down.
Yeah.
He thinks he's fast enough to either get out of the way of the shots or to clip you as you're coming in with yours.
Right.
I think it's we've talked about this since I don't even know how popular the kid was when our show started. But you just, bro, you can't get in there with good guys with these.
Right.
I mean, I really, really like Joe Goosen, man. I think he's got a really, really high IQ. And hearing him talk about certain things and talk about the kid's work ethic and how hard he works. And I don't deny any of that.
Right.
But how can these seemingly obvious things that you and I, two nitwits,
right.
It's like when we talk about guys, oh, blah, blah, blah. All you need to do is X, Y, Z. I'm not talking about this fight.
Yeah.
But, other fighters, all you need to do to Devin Haney is X, Y, Z, and all you need to do to this guy is X, Y, Z. And I critique how, bro, I was, when Mick Conlon and Shakur came out of the Olympics, I was killing both of them. And I whatever point in the show, I said I was wrong about Shakur. He's special. And I wasn't wrong about Mick Conlon. He stinks. So it's honesty on this show. And I'm fully on the Shakur bandwagon. It was slow for me. Slow for me.
Well, one of the things about Shakur, real quick, that I'll say, and I said this to my buddy the other day, we were talking about it, because he thinks he's a great boxing mind, former fighter. He said Shakur's the best fighter in boxing. He's not my number one pound for pound, but I'm telling you, because he's got the resume's got to go up, but he's the best. He's the best fighter in boxing. And I said, a lot of times these athletes, Shakur looked like a little baby 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
They got to go through puberty. You know what I mean? Like he looks like a late bloomer. You know what I'm saying? So now he's moving up through the weight classes. But I'm telling you right now, no one's going to want shit with that kid, Shakur, at 35, which is, I think, why and I'm going to say this, Oscar panicked and made this. And like you said, it's going to sell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Dad, sorry. So I was going to build off your Shakur thing because I'm charged up now. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Tank's got to go to jail after this fight. Shakur's not going to fight Ryan after if Ryan Garcia, the best scenario for boxing would be Ryan Garcia to win.
Agreed.
Because we would get a good fight next.
Agreed.
I wonder
how sure is the Tank thing?
I'm curious if Goosen's going to have Ryan come out like on his stick, just jabbing like crazy. You know what I mean?
That's where I want to get to, because I have comparisons. Because we've been gone so long, but we did news and notes. This is really the fight we're really talking about.
Right.
There's another one we're going to breeze through, but anyway, babe, real quick, man. I know it's off the subject, but I do want to say, okay, and it seems like I admitted more than 2-3 times about Shakur and me being wrong, but I do want to say the Shakur Stevenson that I was critiquing is not the Shakur Stevenson that we're seeing today.
No.
This is a guy who will get a bang on the inside. This is a guy. This is a person.
He's a different guy.
He's a different guy, and he's getting his man strength.
Right.
So I want to clear that up. That it wasn't me critiquing this guy you're currently seeing.
Right.
I talked about it on early episodes. You can go back when I turned the tide. When I turned the tide on him.
Right.
I said no. This kid's the real deal. Look, Ryan Garcia thinks that he can hurt you with both hands. So far, he's proven he has. I could not agree more. I don't know if that's what Joe Goosen's telling him. Body-wise, not stylistically, body-wise, there's a lot of Chico Corrales and Paul Williams going on with Ryan
Yeah,
Garcia,
big
and that's
lanky guy.
being big, tall, and rangy for your weight class.
Right.
And
Well, this is at 136, right?
right,
It's a fucking catch weight.
and B, the thing, I mean, Chico Corrales, it's like you got to put him in the Arturo Gatti thing. This guy was, but he's one of those guys that if you're his trainer, you go, would you just fucking stand on the outside and fucking pump that stick?
Right.
You just do. So I think this kid could win fighting on the outside, doubling, tripling the jab, and coming back with a right hand, and then triple jab, right hand, right? Keep doing that. You keep doing that. Keep doing that. Then triple jab, right hand. Then come with that hook. See what happens. And in the third or fourth, I'm not giving him anything but double and triple jabs until I'm not putting nothing behind it until maybe the third.
Right.
And then for the third and the fourth, I'm starting to put the right hand behind it, and then I'm assessing how he's reacting to that, and then I might put the three behind those 1-2s, but I'm not going out there fighting this guy.
Right.
And
and Tank's got otherworldly power. Anybody I know that knows him says kid's power is real. It's as advertised.
So people that know him that you trust, not like internet.
Everybody I know that knows him, that's been in the gym down there in Baltimore with him, or in Vegas with him, are like it's otherworldly.
Okay, because I'm not sold.
He knocks out like, yo, these are close friends of mine.
No,
guys,
I'm saying I've never heard.
Yeah, guys.
But the Tank's power thing and the myth of Tank's power has been via how am I trying to say this?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
There's usually some connection between someone.
Well, he just kind of,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have none. You do. And this, honestly, I'll be frank to the listeners. This is the first time you're ever telling me that, and I'm talking about amongst private conversations.
Right. So everybody that I know that knows him or's been around him is like this. His power is the real deal. They've seen him with 16s put out good middleweights. You know, put him down with body shots, put him out. So, you know, the fight on fight night is a different fight than sparring. You know what I mean? But all you said Garcia could do, I agree with. And if Garcia was smart, he'd look at the first half of the Santa Cruz fight. You know what I mean? No one likes to get hit. No one likes to get punched in the face.
No.
So if he, like you said, if he tries to pepper him and move him and then change some speed and variation on the shots, I think he'll have some success early if he does that. I think that Tank is a master at conserving energy. Sometimes the knockouts come late. We've also seen against Pitbull, Tank hurt his hand and had to box. I was really impressed with that fight. But I think
his boxing ability is underrated because we love power in this sport and we love knockouts. He has a higher IQ than most people give him, and I'm not a Tank guy,
right?
But again, we're very frank about. I'm
not either. I don't
why
really
we like or don't like. I just don't like. I think he's a goof. I think they're both goofballs. You see these I'm not gonna say outfits. You see these costumes at these weigh-ins, bro.
Dude,
bro, I know you and I have this talk a lot where we go, yo, are we getting old?
Yes.
When we see XYZ, and I go, bro, there is no fucking way that what those motherfuckers had on at those press conferences are cool.
It's just these are guys that don't know basically what to. Floyd is the same way. A lot of new money people are. They just go in the store and like, give me expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these guys could go to JCPenney.
No, I mean Floyd would be courtside in the Han Solo costume. Remember?
Yeah, remember that?
Gimmick?
Yeah.
Like
and I remember
and that's a result of living in Vegas and going to
the mall,
going to the Versace store.
And go, give me what's on the mannequin. How much does it cost?
Oh, that's 50 racks? I want that.
I want that because it just, someone's going to know.
Yeah, someone.
Right. Someone will know. Yeah. So they have like no semblance of like, yeah, Tank. It's weird. But
yeah, so but whatever, but I just said that about Tank. I don't particularly like either of them as people. And I think that in the world of casual boxing fans, okay, and to a degree, boxing heads,
right.
I think they're both overrated.
Okay. Fair.
Does that matter right now? Not at all.
No.
They're fighting each other. That overrated thing matters when you fight other elite guys, and we'll get into that if one of them fights Shakur or the winner of Haney Lomachenko. Then that's when we go. Here's where I think they're the same level of overrated. So now it's, well, who's the real guy? The real guy is going to come out. I think you can beat Tank by, I mean, if you're Ryan Garcia, by fighting him as the taller fighter.
Right.
Nice crisp jab. I'm not talking about just a rangefinder. I'm talking about Tank, again, like I said, a pretty good boxing IQ, slept on boxing ability. I don't think he can box with Ryan. If that was it, you know what I mean? Like take away in a fantasy land, neither of them can punch. They both can, but let's say neither of them can punch and they have to box. I think Ryan wins, even though I think Tank's underrated boxer.
Okay.
I think that if he fought from the outside, like what I was saying, double and triple the jab, I'm not putting nothing behind it, B. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm jabbing for 2 rounds. In 3 and 4, I start putting, I jab it 3 times and I come back, I come with the right hand right behind it, get out of there. Get it into the middle rounds, I see what that left hook.
Mixing in other things.
Yes, and then I start mixing everything in, and then that's probably when he gets clipped. But I don't even know if he's going to be smart enough to do this. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think
it's also he's either, I think he's going to try to blast him out. That's what I think Ryan's going to try to do, is blast him out. I think Ryan wants a knockout. He may, but I think we're going to see flashy big punches. I think but I got Tank waiting patiently. Tank is patient. If he's anything, he's patient. Waiting patiently. First couple rounds, Ryan might look good, might win a few rounds. Like you said, jab, cross, the basics. I think by the 4th round, Tank's going to start to get that timing down. He's got very good timing.
He does. And
his knockouts come late. So Tank starts to time you, and then you start to feel those punches a little bit with a little bit more fatigue. And again, like you said, Tank is an underrated boxing IQ guy. He knows when his guys are tired or hurt. He's a great finisher. So
he is. He's a killer.
I think Tank starts to implement some feints towards the middle rounds, and I think Ryan bites on one, and then that's all she wrote. Good night.
Something we've never talked about on this show. I don't know if you've talked about it with your guys. Whether it be Raynon, Paulie, David, guys who know him, guys who sparred in Baltimore with him. What do we really know anything about his chin? Has anyone caught him clean? Has anyone caught him clean that we respect? Because I think Leo Santa Cruz had some success. You're talking about a bantamweight, fighting a guy who fought at 140.
Right. So,
yeah. He's just laughing them off.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at that fight, Santa Cruz did have some success. From everything I've seen, we've watched this guy every 3 months for the last 5 years. He's got a good chin. I don't really. I've seen him bothered, not hurt. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. Like you always say, nobody likes getting hit.
Right.
You've seen the one when they nod your head, when someone clips you and you nod your head. That's I didn't like that, man, and I don't want it again. I'm not particularly dazed, but I don't want to get hit by that again. Look, we talked about his resume and what we think about it. It's solid in one respect. The other respect, with his star power and age, it's a little bit less solid. Is it safe to say Ryan Garcia cracks the hardest of anyone he's been in there with?
Yeah, I mean,
Isak Cruz can crack a little bit, but he's very crude.
Right. Cruz can crack. Again, we'll see. I mean, Ryan's power isn't really against the upper echelon elite, that
No.
we've seen. So
No.
we'll have to. I don't know. I mean, look, that doofus Rolly he fought can punch.
Mhm.
I mean, Pedraza can punch, but that's when they were smaller. Probably, yeah. Let's go ahead and say that Garcia is maybe the heaviest puncher.
I just think you start putting things together. You know how sometimes you come to conclusions as you're speaking. It could
Sure.
be to your wife, it could be to your home, it could be to anyone. We're talking, and I'm like, all right, we think Tank's chin's sturdy. This guy's hurting guys that are middleweights and sparring.
Right.
He can time you. He's not. People say he's fast, but it's more timing than speed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When it looks like he's fast, it's because he's got great timing.
Right.
Okay, a guy leaves his chin dangling out, his hands.
Right.
As we're talking this, I'm going, wait a second, man.
And he sets traps. Okay. You know what I mean? He sets traps. He.
That's why I said he's smarter than people give him credit for.
And again, like you talk about the Santa Cruz fight, you can actually see him getting visibly annoyed, and he's like, "All right, I'm pulling the plug on this fucking thing." You know what I mean? Like, all right, good night.
Yeah, because the guy's touching him up a little bit.
He's
not getting hurt, but it's annoying. I'm getting hit. I'm not hurt, but I let this guy hang around enough.
Yeah, if Tank didn't have such a scumbag personality, like where he runs people over at fucking bus stops and grabs his girlfriend by the neck
and leaves them and chokes his girl in public,
right? We would be having a lot more fun with this fight.
Absolutely.
Because he's kind of like what you want. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like he goes for the knockout. Like you said, he's a killer.
His power is real, which I said I'm not sold yet, but you telling me that real guys told you?
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear, because there's just guys, man, not to go off topic, but you look at a guy like Acelino Freitas, who I was like, this guy's a man, 32-0, 32 knockers, Popo Freitas. And I'm not saying his power wasn't real, but when he got real elite, it didn't count. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he didn't want to be there anymore. Yeah.
That's all I mean by this. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, he couldn't punch. The guy could crack regardless.
Right.
But what I'm saying is some of these guys, they're just destructive. Edison Miranda, you're like, oh my God, this guy touches you and you fall. And then someone goes, I'm picking your shots off, or I just got an iron chin. We know that's not Ryan. We know the iron chin is not there. We know he's chinny. Do you feel there's any more to discuss in regards to the actual breakdown of the fight?
No, I think we did a good job with that. I think the best way to put this, and this may sound lazy, Tank's going to do what Tank does, right?
No, he's not lazy at all.
He's going to wait. He's going to not throw a lot of punches the first few rounds, and then we're going to see him start to work. Ryan, this is the most interesting thing is what strategy are they going to implement against Tank? Is he going to try to get Tank to come on a front foot, which would be a mistake? Or is he going to go on a front foot and be aggressive in the beginning and try to fucking steal rounds and not steal rounds, but bank rounds early in the fight? Because we know Tank is a second half or middle round fighter.
Are we going into predictions? Is this prediction time?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Ryan's going to look good for the first 2-3 rounds. He's
2-3,
little couple 2-3. He's going to look good. Everyone's going to get horny for it. He's going to start to. He's not going to be able to keep the pace up. What he sets, no one can. I think by the 8th round, Tank, for all the stuff we said about his boxing, has Ryan more tired than from the punches. And I mean, specifically what I think he's going to do is sort of what Luke Campbell did. Luke Campbell hit him with a right hook, right? The counter shot.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Tank will either punch in between Ryan's own hook or Ryan's jab. And with that right hand hook over it, or Tank also has a very good straight left down the pipe, which would be kryptonite for any orthodox fighter against the southpaw. So it's either one of those two shots, and it's set up with a feint. Ryan's going to drop his hands because Tank's going to start working the body. He's going to drop his hands. Tank goes rooftop, and we watch Garcia count lights.
I think Garcia wins the first two with the jab. Two, 3 and 4 starts putting a right hand behind it. Starts looking real bad for Tank. Wow, this is easy. 5th round, lights out. Tank
knocks out Garcia in the 5th.
Snoring.
Wow.
KO of the year. In
The
4
crowd
months
goes wild.
I think he starts touching him downstairs a little bit. Tank
and gets him to drop his
and
hand.
comes up top, left hand. I think a straight left hand while Ryan's about to throw the left hand,
right,
the left hook.
He punches in between Ryan's left hook.
Yes, I wouldn't call it a count. He punches with him.
While
he's coming off the hip,
he
comes off that hip with that left hook.
Right.
And Tank's a baby Tyson, short and concise.
Right.
A short, like remember the right hand that Tyson hit Franz Botha with?
Yeah.
That, but a left hand.
Gotcha.
On the point of the chin, eyes roll in the back of the head.
That's it. All right, cool. That's all she wrote. What time do you think this fucking ring walk will be?
Let me hip you something to correct me to. A free app. Because you're cheap, a cheapo. Ring walks. It tells you all the exact time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And it works.
Well, I mean, how often?
And it serves as, because me and you are always yelling at the internet for these sites and their bad schedules.
Right.
It also has a great schedule, and it's never wrong.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just from a viewership standpoint. The other night,
right now, they're saying expected start time 10:30. That's too early.
That's the undercard.
I say,
or the undercard.
I say they start. I say they do their ring walks at 11:30.
12:15.
Ring walks.
Ring walks. Fundora walked out at 12:30 the other night.
Yeah, but that was a purposely late card.
I'm saying a big pay-per-view like this, 12:30, 12:15, and everyone's gonna bitch about it. I hope it's earlier.
Okay. I mean, look, you know me. I want them to start at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, I know, but you're in the minority of that. Boxing viewership kills itself with these late ring walks.
You're right.
A lot of people are like, where is the fuck? They lose interest.